Was one word from Jungkook able to break the silence and make Jimin smile happily? Find the answer here. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for the latest news. All fell silent. The stadium, which was originally quiet, suddenly thundered when the spotlight of the focus lights plunged into the small stage in one of the back corners. Amid the gleam of pair lights reflecting the shadows of the audience, Jungkook stood fixedly looking at Jimin's face that for months had been covered in a mask of fatigue and doubt. Silence. Even the previously soft background music stopped instantly, as if afraid to break the tense silence. And then a word was said. One word that made Jimin's heart tremble, as if finding a bright spot in the darkness that swallowed his days. Is just one word able to turn the atmosphere around, break the silence, and soothe a fractured heart? How did Jim react when he heard this? Why is that word so meaningful? This is the story that left all the fans glued, unable to move, because one word from Jungkook was able to give Jimin unexpected happiness. Before we go any further, we would like to know your thoughts. What do you think about the words that Jungkook said that made Jimin silent and smile? Share your guesses in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next developments, because this moment will continue to be remembered by the ARMY around the world. Since early January, rumors of tensions between Jungkook and Jimin have been circulating. Many ARMY speculated that the two friends were experiencing serious internal conflicts, whether it was related to busy schedules, agency pressure, or differences in opinions about BTS's musical direction going forward. In the midst of a busy world tour schedule, oblique news began to spread through social media. Is Jimin getting saturated with the hypercritical pressure of the fans? Does Jungkook feel disappointed that Jimin was considered more popular in the last few promos? The speculation adds to the burden on the shoulders of two personnel who were actually known as a complementary duo. But until the two of them were finally summoned to one special event in Seoul last week, the public could only look forward to a moment of reconciliation or, conversely, confirmation of the conflict between them. On Saturday night, May 27th, 2025, HYB announced a surprise event held specifically for fans with the title Harmony Beyond Words, Behind the Scenes with BTS. This event was presented as a rare opportunity for ARMY to witness how the 7 members of BTS interact in a relaxed manner, without the barriers of a large stage, and without being interrupted by the spotlight of major media cameras. But for those who have already heard the rumors, especially about Jimin and Jungkook, the direction of the event's promoters feels like a magnet that arouses global curiosity. Is this the moment when they will show that their friendship remains intact despite a lot of pressure? Or even is the tension that has been felt will peak at that moment? Early in the morning, ticket booking slots have been sold out. Since the official announcement, the atmosphere on social media has heated up. The hashtag #SudakatantukJimin is trending on Twitter and Weverse, with thousands of ARMY discussing what will happen. Some predict a sentimental moment in which Jungkook will publicly thank Jimin for the unwavering support he has been given over the years. Others speculated more intensely maybe Jungkook will reveal their big secret that was never revealed to the public, or is it possible that he will apologize for the misunderstanding that occurred? The curiosity caused tremendous enthusiasm. Even the ARMY, which is usually normal with offstage content, is now willing to stay up all night just to wait for the live broadcast of the moment. That night, a simple stadium in the Gangnam area was filled with tens of thousands of ARMY who came from various cities in South Korea. There was even a group of international fan base who were willing to come since morning just to take the best position. They are looking forward to a miracle that will reportedly only last less than 10 minutes. The entrance opened at exactly 1800 hours Korea Standard Time, and in every hallway of the corridor, huge banners reading Harmony Beyond Words decorated the walls. Boisterous voices were heard everywhere. Some soldiers cheered, others whispered hysterically. The lighting of street lamps began to dim when the time began to approach 20:00 in the VIP room. Celebrity lifestyle singers and K-pop influencers are ready to record every inch of the event. Shortly thereafter, the crowd on the stage began to move. 7 wooden chairs surround a small round stage lit by dim lights. Piano accompaniment and acoustic guitar whisper quietly from the right corner of the stage. All the elements seemed set up for an intimate atmosphere, in contrast to the big concerts they were used to. The scene immediately sparked comments in the ARMY broadcast room. Look at the setup, so cozy and raw. It's like a private studio, not a concert stage. The anticipation was heightened when they started popping up one by one. Wearing casual monochrome outfits, Jeon looked casual in a black t-shirt and jeans, Suga in a white long-sleeved shirt, Rap Monster was simple in a gray sweater. While V and J-Hope looked more fashionable in a light leather jacket and cargo pants. Jimin and Jungkook both chose matching outfits, a light ash hoodie and black jogger pants. In contrast to the glamorous mass of the big stage, their performance that night felt very human. Around 20:05, the MC of the event, a well-known music journalist who has long been close to BTS, began a brief welcome. He spoke in a soft voice, "Good night, Army. Thank you for visiting Harmony Beyond Words. Tonight, we will see another side of BTS, not as megastars, but as 7 people with unspoken stories, emotions, and bonds. So, prepare your hearts, because the moment that will happen here will be history." Thunderous applause greeted sliding seats and an impatient heartbeat. The MC then invites Jungkook and Jimin to sit together in the middle of the circle of seats. That's when the silence became even more gripping. The camera highlights Jungkook's reddened face, as if holding back something very important to reveal. Beside him, Jimin is seen looking down, trembling hands holding a glass of mineral water, his face displaying a mixture of anticipation and worry. The camera switches to the faces of the other members sitting around them. Their expressions vary between excited, anxious, and curious. Although this moment isn't just about pleasantries, it's about bonds tested by fame, hectic schedules, and the weight of expectation of millions of fans. Moments passed. Outside the stage, the virtual world is heating up with ARMY uploads waiting for news. The hashtag #Sudakatantuk Jimin is now soaring to the top of trending in South Korea and several other countries. Q. Jungkook will definitely say sorry for catcher butt fingers behind the scenes, wrote one user. Meanwhile, major accounts aired the slow-motion reactions of fans inside the stadium. Some shed tears, some shouted Haru, some covered their faces in disbelief. Curiosity turned into an almost sacred sentiment, as if the entire flow of world conversation stopped for a moment to wait for the word "it." Then, in a moment of seemingly eternal silence, Jungkook took a deep breath. The sound of his breathing heard in the microphone made the whole room feel rumbling. All the spotlights concentrated on his mouth, as if trying to catch every trill of the note. He lowered his head for a moment, staring at his feet many times, as if composing word for word in his head before releasing it into the air. From the corner of his lips, slowly a word flowed out, "honey." Jungkook's "Seong" was so sincere and profound, it made the echo in the room seem to stop spinning. Everything fell into such a firm silence. No one breathes comfortably. The heartbeat beats fast. Jimin's eyes suddenly widened, his lips trembling, holding back the tears that were about to spill. Honey, a word that may seem simple, but to Jimin that night, it was like an oasis in a barren desert of emotions. The word turned all assumptions upside down. It not only expressed the love for the friendship that had been established, but also the recognition that all this time both needed each other to stay afloat. The reaction of the audience in the broadcast room spilled into screams, applause, and sobs. Jimin looked at Jungkook with teary eyes. His lips smiled shyly. Then slowly he stood up, stepped forward, and hugged Jungkook without a word. It's not a stage hug. It's a friend who feels a half dead weight on their chest, a friend who hears one of the most beautiful words in the world, which sums up millions of seconds of togetherness, sadness, anxiety, and hope into one. Not a few ARMY who shed tears to see that moment, as if to feel the same relief after going through a storm of rumors and worries. News of one word from Jungkook immediately flooded online media portals, reported by dozens of entertainment websites, blogs, and YouTube channels. Titles like "Honey, How One Word Changed Everything for Jimin," or "Emotional Moment. Jungkook Says Honey and Makes ARMY Cry" popped up everywhere. Even the next performance of the song seemed lonely to some of the audience. They just wanted to dissolve in the warmth that had just been created. But what exactly does that one word mean? Why is the simple word "honey" so powerful to calm the anxiety of Jimin and the entire ARMY watching? To find the answer, we need to trace various fragments of the story of their journey over the past few years. Since their debut in 2013, Jungkook and Jimin have been known as an inseparable duo. From the small stage at the BTS Mosque in Seoul to the grand stage at Wembley Stadium, They have always performed together. They are friendly to each other in choreography, holding each other's hands before entering the arena, and staring meaningfully at each other when facing the cheers of the audience. In the early moments of his career, when vocal and dance rehearsals were filled with tears of exhaustion, Jungkook often became a protective figure for Jimin, who was 1 year younger. Jimin, who is initially naive and timid, slowly learns to believe in his abilities thanks to a moral impulse from Jungkook. On the other hand, Jungkook, who is still in his teens, often feels pressure because he is considered the golden magne, to look perfect at every opportunity. Jimin, with his dancing talent, is often where Jungkook complains, sharing his fears when he feels he can no longer dance to an increasingly fast rhythm. The two complement each other. Jimin helps Jungkook find confidence, while Jungkook gives affection and support that makes Jimin dare to appear bolder on stage. From the time of School Love Affair to Love Yourself, their togetherness grew past the usual fan service. They began putting each other's names on the backs of stage jackets, writing secret messages in lyric books, and were often seen revealing secrets behind the stage to reporters. Fans jotted down the moments they were snuggling up to each other during the recording process, keeping watch together in the studio late into the night, and even sharing hundreds of messages on BTS's group chats that are often the subject of fanbase news even when the product is finished editing. The warmth between them looks real, not just the camera settings. However, in 2024, when BTS decided to take a long hiatus due to some members having to undergo military service, tensions began to arise. Not only because of the physical distance, but mental stress also lurks. Jimin became one of the members who had experienced high anxiety because he felt unable to perform without the full support of the members, especially Jungkook, who for him was a brother in arms. On the one hand, Jungkook also admitted that he felt lost when he had to go on a solo tour for several months without Jimin by his side. The endless longing, the burden of expectations as the keyword of a new generation of K-pop idols, and the longing to return to the lap of friends make the moment of reunion of the two in early 2025 predicted to be emotional. And it was evident that morning when they had their sound check trial together. Jimin looked teary as Jungkook rubbed his back and said, "We're going to be fine." After the show Harmony Beyond Words, the issue of tension that had evaporated seemed to never exist. Many insiders report that one word, honey, is not just an ordinary sweet greeting, but rather a reaffirmation for their promise to always look after each other, remind and lovingly reprimand, that they are not just group mates, but brothers who should prioritize each other. The word was also spoken as a form of atonement for some misunderstandings that occurred over the past few months, when rumors surfaced that Jimin and Jungkook had clashed while discussing the concept of their respective solo albums. A source close to the couple said they slept together in the rehearsal room late into the night, each criticizing the other's music and dance choices. The atmosphere of awkwardness was briefly felt in some open rehearsals, where Jimin chose to practice alone in a corner of the studio, while Jungkook more often avoided the chatter of other group mates. However, all that disappeared when they met on the stage of Harmony Beyond Words that night. The word, honey, came up not spontaneously, but as a result of long reflection after Jungkook's self-evaluation a few days earlier. It is known that the show's production staff gave Jungkook a special time so that he could talk to Jimin personally before the performance. In the session, they sat at a simple wooden table in the waiting room, covered with light curtains. Jungkook looked at Jimin for a long time, holding back tears, then asked, "I told you I wouldn't leave you, right?" Jimin is pissed. Jungkook later said, "Maybe I've been too busy proving myself. But I want you to know that among all things, I love you, man." Jimin, who heard it, smiled bitterly, then replied, "I also love you, bangtan magne." The moment was not for public consumption, but enough to make Jungkook convinced that one word, honey, should be spoken on stage, not through songs or ordinary gestures, but one word that invites the needs of their hearts. This story then spread like a virus in cyberspace, starting from a 15-second clip uploaded by one of the army from the audience seat, showing moments of saying honey. Before long, millions of views were accumulated, The like to dislike ratio dominated the likes, and passionate comments filled the column. This is not just friendship, but family love. Jungkook really knows how to make moments extra special. Jimin will forever